Welcome to Justice Now, and you've entered a series on workplace mobbing, Part 16, Part B, on social exclusion. So a number of things about social exclusion, in particular in the workplace. A lot of the managers will end up misdiagnosing what actually is occurring in the workplace. In some respects, it's hard to fathom how this misdiagnosis occurs, but no one person is able to see all the dynamics of relationships within the workplace at one given time. Each person sees a snippet, accepts information or rejects information, and continues their workday based on what they accept or reject. So I'll give you some further information regarding social inclusion and how managers misdiagnose the situation. They'll see a group, a team that reports to them, and then they'll see one person off on their own. And rather than take a look at the group and what's happening within the dynamics of the group, they tend to focus much more on the one person who has separated from the group. And not separated voluntarily, but has been excluded from the group. And what ends up happening is the person who is separated from the group is often blamed and labeled. So they're labeled as a loner, they're labeled as a lone wolf. If the person is an introvert, there's blame around being an introvert. And that's not what exclusion is. That's not what social exclusion is. Social exclusion is deliberately ignoring, rendering invisible another human being. It's abuse. And it's a form of social domination. So the people who do this to the target know what they're doing, and it's premeditated. This is what they've chosen to do. They've designated that this one individual, for whatever flimsy excuse they can come up with, they feel that that one individual is worthy of exclusion. So then the manager, who may not know this, the manager may be in on it and is actually doing the exclusion, but for a manager who may not be aware of it, they just may think that this one person is just not gelling with the group for whatever reason, and they might think, oh, it's a personality conflict. It is not. The managers might think, oh, well, maybe this person just needs to come out of their shell more because they're too much of an introvert. Introverts are capable of making friends. Introverts are capable of functioning in society like anyone else. So that's definitely not it. It's not as if it's a personality disorder, like an antisocial disorder. And then, but yet again, the target is being blamed. And at no time, I know in this experience, at no time did the manager ever look into the fact that perhaps as a target, you're being excluded. That didn't happen to me. I was oftentimes being labeled, being given labels to erroneously define who I am. And that's also another byproduct of exclusion, is the loss of voice. The loss of voice. So this is how managers will do this. So they'll turn around and they'll embed it into your performance plan about how you need to manage your emotions. They think that it's helpful. It's not helpful at all. Again, it's putting blame again on the target, as if it's the target that has issues managing emotions. And that's not the case. In fact, based on the circumstances, the target is actually very strong in having to return to such an environment every day. The target is very capable of managing their emotions. They have to get through the day of being browbeaten every time. They don't know when they're going to be browbeaten or how, but rest assured, every single time that they're going back into that hostile environment, they're being browbeaten. Targets should really give themselves kudos and pats on the back for having the resilience to go back into such an environment. So in terms of the social exclusion, managers tend to misdiagnose it and end up blaming the target even further. Another thing that tends to happen is that the others, the perpetrators that are doing this, while they're getting themselves and their supporters to try and get other people to turn against you, I mean, it's a very active role that they play. It's not a passive role. For some managers, they seem to believe that this is a one-off and it will sort itself out. And, if the person is staying away from the group, maybe just, connecting them with a couple of people on that team is going to help them re-enter the group. Well, it doesn't, because already the group has been contaminated with manipulations and gossip, malicious gossip, and just outright lies. So it makes it difficult for the target to connect with anybody on that team as a result. And there are different types of perpetrators within the group. You have the ringleaders that are constantly trying to show others how to continue to reject you. And then you have other people who don't know you or may know very little of you, who have listened to the perpetrators and wanted to exact their own brand of additional abuse upon you as well. So you're literally getting browbeaten, attacked from different sides. And you don't know which person's going to be doing the attack. In some cases, you'll have those who support the perpetrators who come to talk to you for a little bit to make it seem as if they are supportive of you, only to then reject you again and disclose to the rest as to whatever you've told them. And it's disgusting. I don't know. I guess that's been the one word that has been consistent throughout the majority of the videos that I've posted, is that the process is disgusting. The people who engage in this type of activity are disgusting. Because they will do this and then they will stop to see what your response is. And if they don't get a response, because remember, negativity addicts, they don't get their fix, they're going to keep increasing they're maladaptive until they get a response out of you. So when it gets to that point, it's very hard to turn it around. I mean, you can start connecting with higher ups. That might help to subside. You might ask for a transfer. That might help, even though it's hard to come by. You may even move your seat, but keep in mind, when you even move your seat, they will be sitting where they're sitting at, but they're capable of walking around to where you are to continue the abuse. So the thing is that oftentimes when managers get involved, it becomes expect your situation to be minimized and trivialized even further. Expect it. When dealing with these people, and according to the different studies through Kip Williams, the first instinct is to try and get yourself back into the group, right? The first instinct is to try and get yourself back into the group, but that doesn't work because the whole intention is to keep you out of the group. It's social domination. Their whole intention is to keep you out of the group and to commit social death against you. Because not only are they excluding you, but they've trained other people to do the same towards you. And then for those who are bystanders, they will not say anything. They're silent. They see what's going on. They remain silent. But they're complicit too because they know what's going on, and they refuse to speak up about it because they're worried of what's going to happen to them next. So I mean, these perpetrators really know how to get people to comply to what they do. Keep in mind, I'm not saying that the bystanders and the perpetrator supporters have no accountability. They have a heck of a lot of accountability, especially considering the fact that they know what's going on and they choose to participate into it. So that was part B of social exclusion. Leave your comments below. And yes, if you have any questions, let me know and I'll be happy to answer.